Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for jumping on the podcast again and being a part of this journey. Really appreciate the opportunity to be able to express my thoughts and feelings on things, and with the hope of being able to walk next to those that are struggling and be able to lift and inspire because of it. Not that I can do things for people. I have tried that in the past. It doesn't. I've wanted it worse than some of my clients, but I've learned. I've learned that I can only do what I can do. So I'm going to do what I can do by giving you all the resources that I possibly can, doing things in an efficient way as possible so that you can get the benefit of my experience, I guess. I come from this in a very humble kind of mind frame. I'm not coming at it like I know everything. I don't. I got my master's, but I still have so much to learn. Every time I learn something new, I realize how much I don't know. So really, my goal is just to walk with people so that I can make this journey a little bit less, I guess, a little bit less roller coasty, right? Like, you're still going to have the ups and downs of life, regardless of whether or not you're a coaching client of mine or not, or you read my book or not. Oh, that's an announcement that's coming up in a minute. Anyway, life is going to throw at you what it throws at you. Hopefully, with some help and guidance from either myself or other inspirational people, that you'll be able to navigate those things, those waters a little bit more even keel. I'm just noticing how many lines are on my face, around my eyes especially. I have been working super hard. Lots going on right now. So 2 announcements that I'll go and reiterate. Philippines, March 16th to the 31st. The islands that I know that I'm going to be on so far, just because flights have been booked and some of the accommodations have been booked. So I'm starting in Dumaguete, spending some time in Tanhai and Bai City. Then we'll go over to the island of Cebu, spending some time in Mandawi for sure. Possibly going up to Carmen, maybe down to Naga. Sometime in Cebu as well. Going to visit the temple there. Woo! It was built right after I lived there. It's been 25 years since I've been there. It sounds so old. But yeah, that's life. I'm enjoying every year, every minute that I have on this planet. So then from there, we'll go back to Cebu and then fly up to Manila. We'll be spending most of our time after the airport. We'll be spending most of our time in Pangasinan, or I don't know how much I'll be spending back in Manila. I had hoped to go to our company headquarters in I think it's in Makati. But it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to do that. So to all my followers that are part of that, in that office, I'm sorry. I'm going to try to, but my time in Manila is far spent. So anyway, so that's that. Second announcement is the book. My editor is just finishing up on the book, and then I'll get my illustrations in there, then the ISB number and the cover stuff. My illustrators should be finishing up on the cover pretty soon here, and then it's just printer. So I'm trying to get it done by March 8th. I know, and March 8th because that's my wife's birthday. But chances are it'll be more, like, I really want it done before I go to the Philippines so I can have it in hand. But at the very least, I'll try to have some audio or like electronic versions of the book available. So if you want to get on the pre-order list, either PM me and or comment on this video, book. Okay, just write down book and I'll know what you're talking about. And either myself or one of the team will contact you to help you, just get you the deeds and keep you updated, basically, at this point. All right, so we're working through the 5 laws a millionaire taught me by Richard Paul Evans. Okay, and I'm working in a lot of stuff because I've been listening to the podcast a lot lately from Ramsey Solutions. Shout out to Ramsey. Thank you so much. I wish they were in Canada because their app for budgeting is remarkable. But we can only get the free version in Canada. I mean, it makes sense, right? Different tax system and government. Yeah, anyway, I mean, it totally makes sense, but still want it. So anyway, so number one was desire. We need to desire, and not just in word, but in deed. Make sure our actions are expressing our desire as much as our words are. So making sure our actions and our words are saying the same thing, and that we have decided to be wealthy and to not only change our futures, but that of future generations to come. And then number two was take responsibility. This is the one that a lot of people have trouble with because they're not ready to take responsibility, or not willing to take responsibility, or they're in this blame game. And I think, well, it's super important for us each to take responsibility for what we've done and kind of figure out where we're at, and take responsibility for where we're at so that we can move together forward. We'll move forward together. Super important. But I think there's an underlying thing there as well, I should say. And I think there's an underlying thing there as well, that if we don't teach these things to our kids, they're going to have a hard go at life. Because like I said in the last podcast, credit card companies are going to universities and promoting credit cards to kids that are barely out of high school, have no income or very limited income. And it's just like, duh. Like, it makes so much sense not to sell it, but yet they do. Anyway, we won't go there. So pay yourself first. That's number three. Now, this one I've had to adapt a little bit because I'm kind of marrying these two concepts with Dave Ramsey, because he teaches that you want to have $1,000 in an emergency fund, then pay off your debt first, and then start working on building that emergency fund. Okay. And then it's 15% to retirement and so on. Almost all financial books that I've read, or financial gurus that I've heard, they talk about this: pay yourself first. And it makes sense, makes total sense. Only adaptation I would do while I'm trying to get out of debt is I would make sure I'm taking at least 10% of my income and I'm paying it towards debt, at least. Like, I would take out all stops, I'd go get an extra job, so I'm putting even more down. Richard says that it's 10% of your main income, and then any other outside income 100%. So if you're doing extra ventures, or you're doing extra delivery pizza, or whatever you're doing on the side, all of that income goes towards your debt. And then once the debt's paid off, then all of that goes into setting up your emergency fund. So you don't have to go back into debt, right? And then all of it's going into 15% to retirement. So the concept is true. I think what we're going to talk about today is basically more the mindset. Okay, so if I ask you the question, is all your money yours to keep? Most people would be like, duh, yeah, I earned it, right? Well, if that's the case, why are you the last person that gets to use your money, right? It goes to the credit card companies, it goes to your loans, it goes to your car payment, it goes to everybody else, your kids, everybody else except for you. So you actually consciously have to think, okay, I need to keep some of my money. Now, if we're using that to pay off debt so that we can use our biggest asset, which is our cash flow, our ability to earn income, right? To pay down debt so we have a higher cash flow so we can get to our financial goals quicker, then that makes sense, okay? But if we're just paying the minimum payment, that's not going to happen. Even if we're paying just a little bit more, we got to go all out. Gazette intensity is what Dave Ramsey says. Just go all out, like that tiger's ready to chow you, right? Because in a sense, that can happen, right? Oh, you want to come say hi to everybody? Okay, come here. Up. Okay, say hi. So this is Luna. Luna's my puppy. Luna wants some attention right now. Okay, we're going to talk to the people, okay? You're going to stay with me while we talk to the people. Okay. Um, so your money, you need to pay yourself first, because if you wait till the end of the month, nothing's going to be left, right? Because everybody else has the pickings of your money, and we have a hard time, if there's money there, not spending, right? Like one thing I've noticed is um, I have to take money out of our main checking account and put it in other checkings account, because if our balance in the checking account is anywhere above basically 2,500, then there's this mentality that we have lots of money and we spend it. Okay. So I put it elsewhere so that it's there to pay for things like going to the Philippines. It's there for things like getting my book produced, right? So it's there for those bigger goals. Okay. When I was going through getting rid of debt. So it's there to throw onto debt, right? Okay. So make sure that you're in control. You pay yourself first. Okay. We are trained to pay all our bills first, and then whatever's left over, we get to switch it. Okay. So that's mind frame. Now, a lot of people, some people might say 10% is a lot of money, right? I can barely live on 100% of my money. How am I going to live on 90, right? So again, like I said in the last podcast, simplify your life. Half your payments you probably don't need. Well, maybe not half. A good portion of your payments you probably don't need. Subscriptions, all those. Do you really need a haircut every week, every month? Maybe every 2 months. Or do it yourself, or find a friend that can cut hair that'll do it for half price. Or, right? Do what you can, or be like me and just shave it, right? Yeah, I don't pay for haircuts. I haven't for a long time, because I just go bzzz. Anyway, hello. Did I say bzzz? Okay. Anyway, all right. So my game changed when I learned this. Pay myself first. Okay. Even though I still felt kind of like paycheck to paycheck, my savings was growing. My debts were going down. Okay. So it's this mindset, and it doesn't happen quick at first. It doesn't have, like, you don't just wake up one morning and have $1 million, right? It starts growing. But then here's a warning. You see this money there and you're like, oh, I've been waiting to buy a new car. Now I can pay cash, which is a good thing to pay cash for a car. But do you need the car that you wanted? Or do you need just, see what I'm saying? Like, when we have the money there, suddenly we want to spend it. Put it there and leave it. One way to do this is to actually have the 10% come off your income. Like, have it as an automatic withdrawal. That way you never see it. That way you don't miss it. Okay? All right. If you can't do 10%, start somewhere. Do 5%. But I would suggest that you could at least, I don't know a dollar figure because that'll depend on your income. But I bet you that there's money being spent. There's probably at least 10%. There's a stat, I think it's 16% of all our income. We don't know where it goes. So why not grab 10% of it and save it so we know where it goes, right? All right, so that's I think we've made the point that you are priority, okay? So begin with that emergency fund, $10 or $1,000 just to have something, get rid of debt. By either throwing that 10% on debt, or 5% on debt, 5% on like savings. Okay. Now, one thing Dave Ramsey does teach is that you need to be 100% focused. So if you're paying off debt, everything goes towards debt. Okay. So you're not spreading. Some people try to invest and pay debt down and save for a house and do everything at once. It's like anything, right? If a fire hose is split 3 ways, it's not going to have the same intensity, right? Whereas if everything's going in the same direction, it's going to blow you away, that fire hose, right? So dial everything down. Do minimum payments on your debts. Okay, while you're doing your 1,000 emergency fund, once that 1,000 emergency fund is funded, then everything goes towards, just pause investing for a second, everything goes towards debt, just everything. Because if you're focused on it and you're not investing, then you're like, oh, I gotta get investing. And that even gives you more intensity to focus on that, paying off the debt. Okay. We don't want to be slaves to debt. Is debt. There's no good debt. Okay. Debt is debt. So, oh, hello. Goodbye. All right. Again, this is finances is not a numbers game. Okay. Actually, one of the personalities on the Ramsey show, Jade Warshaw, or is it the other? Anyway, one of the personalities, she's going to kill me. I can't remember her name. Rachel Cruz. Rachel Cruz wrote a book called Money is Not a Math Game. So guess what? It's not. It's not the numbers. It's you. The problem's not the numbers. The problem's not your income. The problem's you. Okay, maybe your income's low, but again, it's you that needs to go make more income. Whether it's getting schooling to do that, I would hesitate to go into debt to go to school. Just saying, is there an apprentice option? Is there a is there another option basically, right? All right. It's not a numbers game, but again, this is teaching not only you these habits, but teaching them to your kids. Super important. Okay. We got to actually, I think, is it Rachel Cruz? Anyway, one of them that also has a book for kids to teach them these principles. Okay. So Ramsey Solutions, I'm not getting any credit for it. I should talk to them about that. Anyway. But yeah, go to RamseySolutions.com, I believe it is. All right. One trick that does work is, like I said, just have it taken off the top of your income, but budget it in. Budget on 90% of your income, and if 90% is not, if it's not working, what in there don't you need? Okay, your car. So one thing I've said this before, your car. If you have a car payment, that's taking a lot of money out of your pocket. Do you need a $30,000 car to get to and from work? Or could you do it on a $10,000 car, right? People say, well, then I got to fix it and keep it up. You probably won't have to spend, if you have like, say, a $500 car payment, car payment, then $500 a month is a lot of money to keep that $15,000 car on the road, right? You probably won't use it all. Just saying, especially if you are wise about where you get that car. Okay, and there's good mechanics out there. Like, I don't go to the dealership. Just saying, I don't go back to the dealership because it's always more expensive, and there's always something wrong. It's funny. I take it in for an oil change a month after getting some work done, and suddenly there's more work. It's amazing how that works. Anyway. So many are worried about keeping up with their neighbors, right? Well, they just got a new car. That means I got a new car. I got to get a new car. Or, oh, they're doing renovations. Maybe, oh, what's wrong with my house? Oh, or the hardest is when the kids come home and say, they're having a birthday party. They've invited me. And not only do I have to bring a gift, it has to be the certain toy that's, $50 and... Anyway, and then if you have 3 or 4 or 5 kids, you're doing that. See how it all adds up? There's this magic word. Ready? You teach us the magic. Don't tell anybody. The word is no. No. Okay? One more time. No. Okay? If somebody's asking you to do something that's not in the budget, somebody's asking you to do something that is not getting your family closer to your goals. If somebody's asking you to do something that doesn't keep your family tight-knit, like going to different activities and, it just has to be in every sports team and everywhere. I mean, I'm all for after-school activities, absolutely. Sports teams, absolutely. The things people learn being a part of a team, absolutely. But do you go into debt to do it? Or destroy your family in the process to make sure your kid's in every single thing? No. You gotta... Sorry. Dog opened the door and then you can hear us doing laundry. This is a professional podcast. Can you tell? All right. Just, I'll end with that. So you guys get the point. Use the word no. It's okay. Your kids won't die. Okay. As long as you're not saying no to food, right? Or, as long as you're giving them what they need, meaning food, water, shelter, love, time, right? It's okay if they don't have the latest phone, if they don't have the latest fashion. It's okay. They will survive. and what they'll remember is the financial principles that you taught them. Because if you say yes to everything, what are you teaching them? You're teaching them that they can say yes to everything too. And the only way we can say yes to everything, the only way, even no matter how wealthy you are, is to use debt. But wealthy people do say no. Wealthy people aren't saying, ooh, let's give money away, right? Most wealthy people that are like, long term, you might not even know they're wealthy. They don't drive the nicest, flashiest car. They don't live in the biggest house because they're smart. They're wealthy up here first. And I'm not talking smart. Like, I know many doctors and lawyers that are not wealthy, right? So I'm not talking like book smart. I'm talking about they've learned these principles and they live them. Okay, so with that, thanks for going with me. Get on the waiting list for that book. Budget it in. And I mean, it's not going to be very expensive, but make sure, a little bit is what gets people. So make sure that you budget it in, okay? That you're not just, get on that wait list and you've got probably at least a month. I'd like it to be sooner than that, but I don't think it will be. Okay, so you've got at least 3 weeks before it's actually going to be for sale. Okay, so start budgeting, get on that wait list, and then, if you're in the Philippines, looking forward to seeing you. And Indonesia, we will be coming there in the next bit as well. Gotta go to France first. Anyway, take care, everybody.